Three, two, one. Okay, did you notice what just happened there? I literally used the first 3 seconds of this explainer to aggressively grab your attention before you could even think about scrolling away. Welcome! Today we're dissecting the actual science behind viral attention. We'll be mapping out the entire journey, going from the super fast-paced, edgy world of dark psychology shorts all the way to the deeply grounded, research-backed science of building long-term trust. Think about it. Why do we click on things we know we probably shouldn't? I mean, if you've spent any time at all on YouTube, Instagram, or TikTok lately, you've definitely seen this massive explosion of dark psychology reels. They're these tiny, insanely magnetic videos promising to expose behavioral strategies, psychological manipulation, and hidden persuasion tactics. But I really want you to consider, why are these high-intensity shorts just so utterly irresistible to us, even when we know exactly what they're trying to do? All right, let's dive into this. Our roadmap for today covers 1. The psychology of virality. 2. Building shorts with AI. 3. The pivot to authenticity. 4. The pratfall effect explained. And 5. Turning flaws into loyalty. Let's get to it. Starting off with Section 1, the psychology of virality. Hacking human behavior. So, how exactly does this dark psychology content hack human behavior? Well, it's absolutely not an accident. It's a highly engineered formula explicitly designed to bypass our rational brains and just hammer our emotional triggers directly. Creators of these videos are following a really strict recipe to maximize retention. It always starts with a strong 3-second hook, because if they don't get you instantly, you're gone. Then they pump in FOMO, the fear of missing out, making you feel like literally everyone else knows the secret but you. They offer emotional validation for your insecurities, and they promise this sort of forbidden knowledge, like secrets of human nature you just aren't supposed to have. You wrap all of that up in cinematic visuals, quick cuts, dark tones, and these really intense zoom effects. And you've got this high-impact package that basically forces you to watch and share. Moving right along to Section 2, Building Shorts with AI, Mass-Producing Virality. Now, if you think there's some army of psychology majors sitting around carefully crafting these videos one by one, think again. Software like HipHop Edamaker boils this entire process down to a super simple 3-step workflow. Step 1 is script to video generation. You just drop in a text script, say something about emotional control, and the AI generates the visual base for you. Step 2 is text to speech, where AI creates those realistic, honestly sometimes kind of eerie voiceovers that sound so commanding. And finally, Step 3 adds auto captions and motion effects to just keep your eyes completely glued to the screen. It's basically an automated factory for churning out highly optimized, manipulative videos at lightning speed. Which brings us to Section 3, the pivot to authenticity, building lasting trust. Okay, let's just take a breath and slow down for a second here. We've talked about how incredibly easy it is to hijack someone's attention. But here's the catch. While dark psychology gets you immediate views and those quick viral hits, it does absolutely nothing to build lasting loyalty. And this brilliantly illustrates the crossroads every single creator and brand eventually faces. On one hand, you have the goal of quick attention, which relies heavily on tactics like shock and secrets. It burns super bright, but it fades incredibly fast. On the other hand, the goal of deep trust requires a totally different tactical approach. Vulnerability and mistakes. You have to trade in that flawless, all-knowing persona for something much more grounded. Because let's face it, today's audiences are deeply skeptical of overly polished AI-generated perfection. Authenticity is what actually matters for long-term brand survival. Let's look at Section 4, the pratfall effect explained. Imperfection is likable. This brings us over to the light side of our psychological journey, and it's a concept that completely flips the script on the idea that you have to present this flawless image all the time. Enter the pratfall effect. This is a psychological principle identified by researcher Elliot Aronson way back in 1966. It basically states that a competent person or a brand actually becomes more likable after making a small, visible mistake. The blunder literally humanizes them. But, and this is absolutely crucial, so do not miss this caveat, the brand or person must already be perceived as competent for this to actually work. If you haven't established your competence first, a mistake just makes you look incompetent. But if you're already highly capable, a minor flaw makes you exponentially more relatable to your audience. To really put into perspective how powerful this is, let's look at it alongside some other heavyweight marketing principles. You've got priming, which unconsciously shapes how someone judges whatever comes next. You've got anchoring, where the very first number you encounter becomes this unshakable reference point for pricing. And then there's the pratfall effect. It strategically uses a small mistake to make a highly capable brand vastly more trustworthy. This isn't just some happy accident. It is a deliberate, highly tested psychological marketing tool.
Finally, Section 5, turning flaws into loyalty. Real-world vulnerability.
So, how do we actually take this academic theory and apply it out in the real world? Well, take Brian Chesky, the CEO of Airbnb. He regularly shares stories about Airbnb's early struggles, and frankly, they're completely embarrassing missteps. By openly acknowledging those past mistakes, he isn't weakening his multi-billion-dollar company, he's humanizing it. This kind of openness creates genuine, authentic connections with customers. It proves that behind the massive corporate logo, there are real people who make mistakes and actually learn from them. It really shows rather than just tells why you should trust them. Just look at how relationships with an audience mature over time. It's like a journey. In the first few seconds, sure, you might hook them using high-intensity curiosity, maybe even utilizing some elements of that dark psychology we started out with. Over the next few minutes, you provide genuine value, establishing that absolutely vital baseline of competence. But then, over days and weeks, you let them see a flaw. You activate that pratfall effect. And the result of all this? Over years, that initial fleeting spark of attention is cemented into deep, unwavering trust and loyalty. The journey might start with an aggressive hook, but it absolutely must mature into authentic vulnerability if you want to succeed. Which brings us to our final, somewhat provocative question for this explainer. What flaw are you willing to share with your audience today? In a digital world that is just completely saturated with AI-generated perfection and manipulative hooks, your greatest asset might literally just be your humanity. I really want you to think about trading a little bit of that polished perfection for a whole lot of genuine long-term trust. Thanks so much for diving into the science of viral attention with me today on This Explainer.